Okay, hi, this is a quick explore of how to extend the voice, prompted by and inspired by a gentleman, Rahul Murderschwa. I probably murdered your voice there. I do your name there with my voice. Anyway, Rahul, I've found a way, I think, to extend the voice, specifically of a board of Deluge patch. From the first pack, so pack one of boards of Deluge, broken pads, which is number 22. That's the one that's scrolling here. So let's have a look at a couple of ways. You mentioned that you wanted to extend any sound, and there is a caveat with this thing I found that might work in some sort of way, that it doesn't necessarily work the same with all different voices, but specifically for that broken pads 22. We'll have a look at a couple of ways you can perhaps get 15 to 18 seconds release time. Now, just for me, because I'm just like that, I've got a timer here on the phone, and I'm going to time how long it lasts for. You ready? So this is the Voice 22 broken pads just loaded in. No changes. This is what it sounds like. There we go. Probably about a second and a half. Now, you specifically mentioned that you didn't want to use the sequencer for it, so there's no sequencer running. So obviously you've got an extension, you can hold the note. And there's a bit going on in the background of the note, and keeping that character of the noise going is one of the challenges. So the first simplest obvious way to me to do that extension of that note after you're pressing it will be to alter the attack and decay parameters. I'm assuming you've already done this, so we'll put the decay to 50, but I'm going to drop sustain down to 0. And if you drop sustain down to 0 and have release on 50. So this is for broken pads now, let's see. So that sounds to be quite a reasonable amount of time. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear that the character of some of the sounds gone, and that's because we've got two envelopes for each of the two oscillators that are being used. So to get that same character to maintain in the synth voice, we need to also sort out the envelope 2 parameters. So take that up, take decay to maximum 50, the sustain take off completely, and the release time up to 50. And if you listen to it now, and I'll time how long it lasts for, which is a decent amount of time, there should be a change now in the tone of the voice, the timbre. So we've got attack set, decay set longest, sustain on 0, and release on longest. So it's 50, 0, 50. And we're going to see how long this... Whoops-a-daisy. Yeah, I set off some pads in the background. We'll try again now. That timer's really noisy. So that's already gone past your 15 to 18 seconds that you wanted. Getting quieter all the time. I'll have to turn that noise down, I think. That time. There we go, well that worked better. Oh, that's much better. A silent timer. Who would have thought I could do that? I didn't. Right, so So that's what we've currently got. Now, to extend it any further, I've been experimenting with using the LFO and delay. So at the moment on this sound, we've got a small amount of delay. Let's go and see how much. An amount of 13. If we start to increase that number and we take it to a relatively safe number of 22, let's see what happens. So I didn't time that because I forgot, but you can see that is a long time. And if that's as far as you want to go with it, and you're okay with the volume decaying down, you can do that. If you just push it a little bit further with the amount on the delay, you start to get, as I'm sure if you've used the Deluge, into a self-oscillating feedback kind of loop, and that happens around 24 or 25 on the setting. So we get this. And it's building, and it's building, and it's building. So if we set it to 24, we can see it sort of stays at that reasonable level and slowly decays off. Now, I'll just take it down an octave and show you what I've been exploring as well, to go even longer than that, which is still going on. If you want the full sound fairly loud, if we take that to 25 on the delay amount, here at the moment it's on the delay time is on 1/8 notes. If we drop that down and off and come here to delay 25, we can actually change the character of the sound. So now let's get back to amount. Got 25 is the delay time, and then we've got 25 as the amount. So I'm going to drop that amount of delay down to 24. So we've got a bit more volume there. But if we want more volume, then what we can do is modulate the amount using LFO. So if I go here now the LFO is flashing, go to LFO 1 because that's the one I've chosen. Take off the sync, so sync's off, and then you can get to the rate parameter for the LFO. Drop that down. I've used about 20. The sound seems to work. And the amount, excuse me, that's on. So LFO 1 rate of 20. Sync is off. Shapes on the sine wave. You can try other shapes as well. Just watch for the feedback. We are modulating the amount of the delay, and we're going to modulate it by, we'll try it -5, and I'll get my hand on the amount button. So -5 is how much the LFO is going to modulate the amount of delay. So you've got quite a reasonable amount of sustain there now. So if we then choose to change the amount of the delay, take it up to that number 25, which is where it starts getting a bit scary and feedbacky and stuff. Put that to 25. Come back here to the amount. We're going to modulate, take that down to 10. So that seems fairly safe. Fair. Okay, so let's just take it up the scale a bit higher note. You hear it building now. Right, so turn the volume down. So let's just have a quick chat about what's happening there in my head, at least. What I think's happening is that the amount rate on your delay time, it's at that that critical point. Above it, and it'll feedback, get louder and louder and louder. Below it, and it'll just quietly go down. But because the amount rate, which is currently set at 25, is being modulated by, that's what little dot means, because it's being modulated by the LFO at -10, it's actually allowing it to go up to 25 level, which will start to feedback, but then come down again, just a little bit, and then go back up again, and come down again, and then go back up again, and come down again. Yeah, so it does affect how it plays out. So if we again try with a greater range on the LFO, so now you can hear the volume change. So it's pulsing. Yeah, so it's coming further away from that top almost feedback level. You just got to be careful when say if we go, well, we'll just push it to 26 then. Scary going past that number 25, don't know why, it just is. And let's see what that sounds like. So that's with an amount of 26, which would normally cause an increasing feedback loop. Yeah, we're on -30 currently. If we drop this down to 10, this is where it starts getting interesting, because it can not quite come down enough, or it can come just enough to sustain. It's a much higher volume. So that's just starting to get too much, which is why I sort of worked out those settings. So on like sort of -5 to -10 modulation value for the LFO, which is modulating the amount of amount of delay, which restricts the feedback level. Yeah, so on with that on 25, the delay amount on 25. We're on digital for the delay model. Off as far as the timing of a delay goes, and I'm using a value of about 25 on the delay rate. You can slow that down or speed that up. It does odd things to the noise. For example, let's go to 40 and try the same thing again. Minus, I'll just get my fingers on the amount level so that I don't have it oscillating. So you can hear the weird noise that's there. Because it's moving so fast, the LFO, that it's affecting the pitch due to other settings that this voice has. So if we then try it with a slower LFO, you see how you hear each individual pulse in stereo. Let's go to amount, drop it off. Sometimes that happens, you get artifacts from previous notes in the background for some reason. Put this back up to 25. There we go. The other thing you can do with the delay setting, so you don't hear the ping pong left and right, you can go to stereo, delay stereo setting, turn that off, and then you just get a central pulse rather than going left to right. It just stays bang in the center. So that's the different things you can do with, and there's loads more you can do with it as well. You know, as I say, changing the rate of the LFO, changing the shape. I always hover with my fingers on the delay amount just in case it builds too much, because in this area of changing these values it can all of a sudden kick off and go running. So I hope that's helpful, and it shows you that you can do it with other voices as well. This is one that this is with my settings up for it to work. Let's go to amount. So that sounds slightly different, and the reason for that is on the original voice, the Broken Pads voice, you've got a slight change in the depth and modulation of the pitch here, and you've also got what's it called? It's a bit like portamento, and it slides. Is it slide? I don't know. Slides into the next note. That's on. Whereas on the voice I had, I've taken both those off to keep the pitch constant, so I can hear what's happening with the tone better. So you can do the same for other voices. Just take the sync off, make sure I'm digital, put the amount to 24 just because I've not tried it on this voice before. Take that off, modulate the amount with LFO1 and do it down to -10. Take LFO sync off, drop that down to 20. We're on triangle, and let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, so we can, I think, safely take that up to 25. But my fingers are over the amount button. So that's continuing to go on. You might not want that sound, so it might not work for all presets or patches, you know. If we put some attack, take off the sustain. I've got some decay there, that's good, and try it again. So you can hear it slightly in the background, the lower note. And it's still going, isn't it? So, and that's without putting a value that's high on the release or the decay. I haven't tried it with 0 on actually. Let's try it with 0 on. Right, so that is 0 decay, sustain and release for the voices. Let's just drop the amount off completely for that. So I haven't tried this. Let's have a try of this one just to give a little last explore, because I'm going to have to stop this video in a sec because it's already getting long. Not long by my standards, but long by most people's attention span, it seems, when they see my videos. Maybe it's my videos, they're not interesting, but I'm interested in them. So the amount there for that, we're going to put up to the 25 and just check. OSC one's on 50, that's on 26. I don't like having that. I usually put them equally or maximum to 35 and then increase and decrease gain so we don't get distortion that's not wanted. Triangles, both of them, change that one to a square. Retrig phase, 190 for some reason. Right, so that one now is, yes, but that's going to carry on making that noise. So we can then, that's with a tack of 15 and 10. Let's try putting decay of 5 on. Yeah, that's this. See how it starts to affect the voice when you change the rate of the LFO. So you can actually you can have a real fun sort of play. Just keep that on the mount so you can drop it down or turn your volume off. Yeah, so we've got that going. If we change the triangle to a square, now we're going to have to watch for the amount building up, and then we'll drop that down. So that's a different kind of voice, is it not? It is. Like I say, I'm going to have some more playing going on. Let's try. Yeah, so. Oh, it's coming back again. And then it's going to go down, it's going to go up, and then down. I think, yeah. Let's just watch the amount, because it might go too high. Down again. So if we do rate, yeah, and of course you can change on the amount LFO minus 10. We can change the amount that affects it. So we've got drop the rate down. And drop that down again. And change that to a sine. See the amount. So I'm just altering the amount there, because it can go somewhere. Anyway, so there we go. Happy. Sloppy squares are all good. Hope that helps.